Hi everybody, this is Molly Ann Leikin, Rhymes with Bacon. I'm a hit songwriter and a songwriting consultant, and I'm very happy to see all of you here. I'm going to talk to you today about how to be a hit songwriter. There are 3 essential parts to being one. First, you write a great song with an original melody, original, not somebody else's or parts of somebody else's, and a lyric that nobody's heard before. You need a terrific recording. Doesn't have to be a full band or orchestra, but it needs to sound professional. And third, you need absolutely indomitable hustle muscles. You never quit pushing your songs. And with those 3 ingredients, you can have yourself a heck of a career. Now I'm going to break down each of those sections as we go through our session today. And I want you to just relax and listen rather than scribble everything down, because while you're scribbling everything down, you won't remember what I said. I have been a songwriter all of my life. I can't imagine that I could have done anything else. I would have been a complete flop in corporate America because I hate to wear pantyhose. That's just between us. I like my freedom. I'm completely self-indulgent. When I feel like writing, I write, whether it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If I'm with some friends for dinner, I'll excuse myself and go write something down on my arm or my shoes, on the bathroom mirror at the Ritz-Carlton. Doesn't matter. So being a songwriter is a full-time job. You got to be, as they say on Shark Tank, you got to be all in. It's not going to be a little something you do on the side and then turn it over to somebody. There is no somebody, realistically. You need to be your own advocate, and you need to want to do this as badly as you want to breathe your next breath. If you're all in, if you're committed, it can happen for you. There are lots of people who discourage creative people. I'm not one of them. I encourage everybody to write everything down. You don't know when it comes to you if an idea is a great idea or not. Write it down, decide later. I always carry, or try to carry, a notebook with me everywhere I go. I keep one in my office. I keep one in other parts of my home. So when an idea hits, I scribble it down. And if it's a melody, I sing it from my cell phone to my landline. And that way, there's a permanent record. All ideas are precious. And I'll tell you, if you get a good one and you don't write it down, I guarantee you're going to turn on the radio and hear it coming out of somebody else's mouth. Okay, so honor your gifts, honor the process, write it down, keep it for later. Sometimes I write something down and an assignment comes along 15 years later, and I've got the idea right there. I don't have to suddenly dig for one at midnight when the session's at 8 a.m. the next day. So, when I write a song, I always have the title first. The title is essential. It's good to have an original title. If I were an A&R person at a large record company and there were 1,000 CDs on my desk or in my inbox, 1,000 MP3s, and 999 of them were titled I Love You, and one was titled I'll Name the Dogs, guess which one I'd listen to first? Obviously, I'll Name the Dogs. It's interesting. You don't know what it's about, and it's not the same old, same old. So I start with the title. So now I've got I'll Name the Dogs, and it could be I'll Name the Dogs. I'll name the dogs. Or it could be I'll name the dogs. I'll name the dogs, name the dogs, name the dogs. You can vary the rhythm of that sentence 1,000 times, and it keeps getting more interesting the more interesting the rhythm gets. So I start with that, and I always write the chorus first. Ideally, your title is in the chorus. I prefer it to be in the first line of your chorus or the last line of your chorus. But somewhere in your chorus is where the title belongs. And, by the way, as I was taught coming up and will pass along to you, it's a good idea not to use the title anywhere else in the song, just because you don't want to use it up. So you've got the rhythm, you've got your title. Now I want you to start thinking about notes. You don't have to be at your keyboard. Lately I've been hearing the melody in my head, and I can hear melodies in my head that are a lot more interesting than I can play. Unless it's in C with a descending bass line, I can't play it. But I can hear it in my head, and I sing it into my phone, and then I find I've got the melody, and I choose the notes one at a time. I don't play chords, I choose the notes. The notes and the rhythm, the notes and the rhythm, the notes and the rhythm. Now, just for review, the range of a pop song, and by pop I mean anything that's popular in 2017, is usually an octave and a third. Any good singer can sing an octave and 3. Lots of people can sing an octave and 5, but they're in the minority. So, here's middle C, here's C above, that's an octave. Here's the E above that C, and that's an octave and a third. Ideally, that's the total range for your song. And don't sneak any notes in down there, because most people can't sing down there. Or, well, it's only an octave and a fifth. It's way up there, way up here. Even that's too high. You want to keep it here. So ideally, your verse is down here, and your chorus is up here. And the highest note of the song is here, and in your chorus, and nowhere else. And we'll talk more about that later. Notice I said note, not chord. People who play guitars tend to play rhythm and chords, but for purposes of this class today, I want you to think in terms of individual notes, and if you can't play them on a guitar, go get yourself a little keyboard, and they're all just laid out for you like a buffet. All right, so you've got your chorus melody, and now I want you to write your verse melody. Notice I said melody. I didn't say anything about chords. We still don't have chords for the chorus. We have a melody and we have rhythm. So you want to write a melody for your verse that slowly leads up to your chorus. You start your verse down here. The rhythm of your verse is completely different from the rhythm of your chorus. And maybe it's 8 bars. Maybe it's 9 bars. Maybe it's 7. There are no rules. Back in the day, composers who studied with other composers got their wrists whacked with a ruler if they didn't have 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars. But that all went out with the Beatles. And it's not going to change anytime soon. Music is more interesting now than it's ever been, especially pop music. So you're going to write your verse melody. You got the rhythm of your verse that's different from the rhythm of your chorus. And you present the melody, and then it slowly moves up, 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 up to the chorus. And ideally, the highest note of your song is in your chorus and no place else. So you start down here in your verse. You kind of move up a little bit, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. And here you are at your chorus. There is no songwriter I've ever met, including me, who doesn't want to write a bridge. Ideally, the form in pop music today is verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. That's 3 distinct rhythmic sections, 3 distinct melodic sections, 3 distinct lyric sections. When you have the verse, the chorus, the verse, the chorus, everybody says, well, you know what, I'll just have a little instrumental in here. No, you need a bridge. So when you finish the second chorus, you need to be thinking about changing the rhythm again and saying in the lyric what you haven't already said in the lyrics so far. Verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. When you've got something, sing it either a cappella, play it 1 note at a time, singing along, and put it away for 2, 3, 4 days. Come back to it, see if it lives through the night. If it doesn't, go back and tweak it. I have hundreds of versions of everything I've ever written. It slowly gets better and better and more interesting. And there's no points for doing things quickly. If you write a song in 10 minutes, it sounds like you wrote it in 10 minutes. So here you have your song. Let's say it made it through the night. Then I would go to the keyboard, go to your guitar, and find the chords. And look for interesting ones. I always put a little mud in mine. I never have just a C chord. I always stick a B in there or a G in there, or not a G, but an F in there, just to keep it interesting. And when I think it's going to be 4 bars, I make it 5 or 3, so it's not predictable. Predictable is death in any creative process. Okay, so now it's time to record your song. You've done your due diligence, you've listened to your song, you've tweaked it, you've got the strongest chorus possible, you've got the strongest verse melody, you've got the best rhythm, it's catchy, it's memorable, you're singing it in the shower. Okay, you've tweaked your tweaks, it's time to record. Your first instinct would be to look for a recording studio online, and there are lots of good ones, but there are also lots of people out there who are out to get your money and who are not even slightly interested in doing anything to really help you. So if you don't live in LA, you don't live in New York, you don't live in Atlanta or Miami or Nashville, what do? I always suggest that you be present when your songs are being recorded, because as the writer, you have suggestions, you hear things in your head. And I'm going to talk first about people who write words and music, and then we'll talk about the lyricists, okay? I promise. So I want you to be in the studio. Now these days there are kids with laptops and software called Pro Tools, and you don't really need to be in a studio with live musicians. And I hate to say that because some of my best friends are musicians. But truthfully, when you start having live people in your studio instead of virtual ones, the cost escalates. And you could be spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a recording when you can do the same thing using a very simple program called Pro Tools. I'm not suggesting you buy the program, because then you'll be an engineer, you won't be a songwriter. And it's hard to switch gears from being creative to being an engineer. So you want a simple recording that shows off the song. And by the way, there's no such thing as a demo anymore. There used to be, but now producers and music supervisors and film directors want a full-blown master recording, and your songs have to be competitive with the very best productions out there. So it's a tall order, it's not fair, but it's the way it is, so deal with it. Okay, so what I do is, I live in Santa Barbara, and the studio I use is in LA. And when I write a song, I'm there when the track is cut, I'm there when the vocals cut, I'm there when, I do actually hire a live guitarist every time, because you can't duplicate the guitar sound on any synthesized program. I'm there, and I'm responsible for what happens. I can't blame it on the producer. I know what I'm good at. My producer knows what I'm good at, and he very gently makes suggestions. Well, Molly, shouldn't we maybe try this instead? So I have a production team, and we've worked together for a number of years, and it's worked out really well. So that's the way I go about it. If you're in East Nowhere, then you have a dilemma. What I suggest you do is interact with the studio and try to talk to somebody before you send them anything, let alone money. Make sure there's a real guy there and not somebody who's cranking out the same tracks with the same tired old singers who sing flat and have recorded 50 songs that day. Don't ever pay anybody $100 to write a melody to your lyric. I know how frustrating it can be to have lots of great lyrics and no tunes. But I consult with lyricists who don't have music. They send me their songs. They're looking to market them. You can't market a lyric without a melody. So what I do is review your songs, and assuming they're a good fit for the marketplace, I will hook you up with a composer in your genre who's right on the cutting edge of making it. And if it's a great lyric and it sings to me and I can't get it out of my head, then maybe even I will be your co-writer. So don't send your $300 or your $500 for your 3 or 5 song quote-unquote demo. You don't need a demo, you need a master. And you need somebody who's going to do original work. You don't want somebody who's tired, who's cranking it out and makes everybody's songs sound the same. You want somebody who's on the cutting edge of now, who's creating new sounds, who's not just replicating old ones. Also, it's important for you, no matter where you live, to develop a circle of friends who are musicians and singers and artists. And the reason for that is when you go to make a recording of your song, somebody might have studio time somewhere. Someone might come and be your bass player. Someone might come and have a cello. That would sound gorgeous. So your friends should expand, your circle of friends should expand. So you're living in a music environment rather than in a vacuum. It's real easy. I sit here in my office and I write songs. I take my walk along the beach in the morning and I write songs. I live a life that is totally creative and is totally isolated from the rest of the world. I have to force myself to go meet people for lunch. And of course I go to my yoga classes without even thinking, but you don't really talk to people in yoga, you just namaste your way through it. But it's important for you to develop as many friends as you can who are in some way musical. Now don't collaborate with the local piano teacher just because she's close by. You want the best music for your words. And you should know that nobody hums a lyric. And that is, you have the music, you have the words. If anything's going to dominate in the song, it's got to be the music, because they're going to have to sing it first. People listen to a song 3 or 4 or 5 times before they're ever aware there even is a lyric. So I go into all of that in my books and in the master class, but I just want you to understand how important it is for you to be responsible for enlarging your life to encompass all kinds of creative people in the music industry. Your key right there is to write songs and record them so they sound like the radio, like they'll blend right in with the playlists all over the world. When I say radio, I mean all media. So now you have to market what you do. If you're a singer-songwriter, you market yourself as a singer-songwriter. You have chosen your genre ahead of time, and your songs fit the genre. So then you go looking for openings in your genre. You go looking for places where your songs will be necessary and where your songs are going to add value to programming that already exists. These days, most new artists break through by having their songs appear in TV shows and in movies. And the people you need to know are the music supervisors for those TV shows and movies. They are hard to reach. They hire legions of people to make sure nobody gets to them. But your job is to get through anyway. You're not going to do much in terms of having a career in the music business by trying to do everything at home from a cell phone. You've got to do what everybody else does, which is back to doing the hustle. You've got to be out there. You've got to make a plan to be performing at least once a week, if not twice. So you're going to go on Tuesday nights and you're going to see Molly Laikin, who's appearing at the What's It Club. And while you're at the What's It Club and performing, you're going to have CDs of your songs available. And you're going to have a business card that says your name, singer-songwriter, with a phone number and an email address. And nothing scratched out from the last 3 residences you had. Everything current and easy to read. Okay? So you're going to sing your songs. You're going to be out there. And every time you appear, you're going to invite as many people from the quote-unquote industry as you can. It's nice to have the grocer there. It's nice to have the baker there. It's nice to have your chiropractor there. But the people you really want to get to are the ones that can help you inch forward in your career by exposing you via various media. Your job is to make the best recording you can and to spend your money on getting out there. If you have to book the gig yourself, if you have to even pay the place so that you can appear there, someday soon they'll be paying you and begging you to come back. Your best money is spent networking. You live in East Nowhere, make sure that you're within whistling distance of Nashville and LA and New York and Atlanta and Miami several times a year so you can go to industry functions there. ASCAP and BMI have meetings twice a year. Everybody in the world is there. For those of you who don't know, ASCAP is the American Society of Composers, Authors, and Publishers. There are professional managers who go there. There are rock and roll managers who go there. There are people who are music supervisors who are looking to network. It's no good for them to have last year's hot item. They need to have you. So they're as anxious to meet you as you are to meet them. But you're doing business. So you're not saying, please validate me. Oh my God, please, I've been sleeping in my car for 3 years. Please, 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 please. No. So you're in an elevator, you're at a front door, you're in a restaurant, you see somebody who's in the music business. Hi, my name's Molly Ann Laikin. I'm a hit songwriter. I'm excited to meet you because I know that you have a fondness for my genre, which is pop new country, and I thought you'd like to hear my music. When would be a good time for me to follow up with you? What email address should I use so it's not confused with spam? When can I call you to follow up? How long does it take for you to get back to me? And you stay on it. You don't hear from the guy, you stay on it. You don't hear from the guy, you stay on it. And meanwhile, you're making connections with other people. ASCAP and BMI have meetings twice a year. They have them in LA, Nashville, Atlanta, Miami, New York. If you're not anywhere close to those cities, make it a point to go. I would pick the one in Nashville or Atlanta because it's a lot less money to stay there than it is in New York or LA. And you don't want to be staying way the heck out in the valley and having to drive to Beverly Hills, which could take 3 weeks on a good day. So you're there, you're hustling. Everybody there actually wants to meet you because they're all looking for new material and new artists. The stuff they have now is working for now, but they're always looking ahead for something new. So your job is to give them the confidence that you are the something new and that you are prolific, that you are productive. You're not a flake. You're not writing on a mountaintop when the mood strikes you, that if they call you and say, we have a scene in this movie, it takes place in a bar, I need a song to be playing in the bar that's a love song, that's hopeful, and when they dance the first dance, the audience knows from the song, because there's no dialogue, but they know from the song that these two are going to have a relationship. Now, writing a song and pitching a song use different parts of your persona and your energy. I know a hit songwriter in Nashville who writes on Tuesday and Thursday, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday, he's out there and he hustles, and it works for him. So it's not like you're right in the middle of writing something and, oh my God, I forgot to call so-and-so at Sony. Monday, Wednesday, Friday are your hustle days. Tuesday, Thursday are your writing days. It's a business. This is how it works. Well, you work full-time, doesn't matter. You get home from work, Monday, Wednesday, Friday are your hustle days. Or you call on your break. You call on your lunch break. You follow up, you follow up, you follow up, you follow up. Okay, so you have a full-time job. It pays the bills. It pays for the recordings. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you call after work or you email after work. And Tuesday, Thursday are your writing days. You make a concerted effort to stay on it. They're never going to call you back. I don't think my phone ever rings. I think it's me going after them. I recently wanted to pitch an article to a magazine here. I sent a pitch that I knew was good because I'm good at this. And I sent it to this editor. Never heard back from that editor. Called the editor. Didn't hear back from the editor. Sent an email to the editor. Didn't hear from her. So guess what? I sent it to the publisher. And I followed up with the publisher. Oh, Molly, yeah, that was really good. I'm going to try to find a place for that in the next issue. Okay, so when should I follow up? If one person doesn't answer you, go to another person and stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. And I finally got an assignment and I wrote the article. Then they wanted a photo. Now they're trying to figure out which part of the magazine to put it in. But if I had waited for the first person to contact me, nothing would have happened. It's always on you to hustle, hustle, hustle. And the difference between you and the guy who's on the radio right now is that he made one extra phone call. You can do it. You have great songs, you've got great recordings, and you have learned to hustle like your life depended on it. It does depend on it. Your creative life does depend on it. It seems to go against the grain for a sensitive, creative person to have to be a big, bold, bossy, hi there. It's Molly again. I'm still trying to reach John Mayer. I'm still trying to reach Clive Davis. I'm still trying to reach Susie Q. Actually, I wouldn't say that. Hi, it's Molly. How are you today? Boy, that weather must be gorgeous. It's fall. The leaves must be beautiful. I sure envy you. Is Clive in? So you kind of slide it in there. Another thing to do is when you're hustling is to meet people who are not in a business setting. When someone's at lunch, truthfully, he wants to eat. So you're coming up and interrupting his lunch is not a good idea. And I say he, but hey, we're there too. The women have many more opportunities now than they did when I was coming up. And truthfully, they're running the business. So it could be she's having lunch. So you figure, I mean, if you're really into this, you find out where they go to church and you suddenly go to that service. You find out where they take their kids for daycare. And what do you know? You suddenly have a kid who goes to the same daycare. Do they play golf? Well, I know it's pricey, but there are always these golf celebrity tournaments and tennis tournaments, and you want to show up there and you want to be in their foursome, and eventually you'll be, hey, that's Molly, sure, yeah, send me a CD sometime. I'd love to hear your new work. Suddenly, it's comfortable for them to do business with you. You're not a stranger. You're not some yutz for the internet who could be a nutcase. All kinds of things can happen, but you got to stay on it. It's not happenstance. Nobody's going to find your CD at the bottom of a big stack. Stay on it, stay on it, stay on it. Have great material. Use your hustle muscles. Make good recordings, and you're going to have a career, and I'll be in the front row cheering you on. I'm so glad that all of you were here with me today. I hope you take this home with you and that you apply it to all the new songs you write. It's much easier to write a new song than it is to try to rewrite an old one. I have some learning tools that are fantastic and that I'm happy to offer you. The first is my book called How to Be a Hit Songwriter. It covers everything we've discussed this morning, as well as lots of other things, the secrets of hit songwriting. And then I have another book, How to Write a Hit Song, which is in its 5th edition and is also fantastic. And to go with them, I produce Molly Ann Leikin's Master Class in Songwriting, which is a compilation of all the very best classes that I taught at UCLA. And with the books, this comprises a complete home study hit songwriting course. Thank you again. Write well, see you on the charts, and be sure to let me know if I can help you with your songs in terms of a consultation for marketing and evaluation. You can reach me at my website, songmd@songmd.com, but please don't send me any unsolicited material because it'll be automatically deleted. Those of you in North America, that's Canada, US, and Mexico, you can call my 800 number, 800-851-6588, and try to reach me between 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, okay? You know you're good. You know you've got something special. You have a gift that you want to share with the world. I'm with you. I'm here for you. When you're ready to move forward and make your dreams come true, here I am.